It began with a page, How Kyo FujiKawa Drew the Way, by Kyo Maclear and Julie Morstad. It began with a page. It began with a page, bright and beckoning. It began with a mother writing a poem and a father working a field and a little girl named Kyo drawing a picture. It was 1913 and Kyo was 5 years old. That morning her mama said, "Ohio, sleepyhead, it's going to be a busy day." And it was. Right until nightfall, Mama's friends had come and they were full of talk. "We sailed to America with our best kimono to see what we could be. Such disappointment. We need the vote. We need rights." Kyo heard her rice bowl and listened with curious ears. Did Kyo know what she wanted to be? Not yet. What she did know was that she liked to draw. She loved the feel of the pencil in her hand, the dance of the glide of a line, how a new color could change everything. A bright splash of yellow, a sleepy stroke of blue. Every day she started with an empty white page and filled it with pictures. At home, surrounded by drawing tools and books, anything was possible. But at school, Kyo didn't feel that way. At school, no one said, "That girl sure can draw." No one noticed her colored pencils or box of paints. No one even noticed when she moved away. You think Kyo's sad? Yeah. Kyo's new home was a fishing village near San Pedro, California. A haven for Japanese Americans, a new life. Roaming with her friends, Kyo felt weightless and free. A ferry ride away at her high school, Kyo sometimes still felt invisible among her mostly white classmates. But her drawings caught the attention of two teachers. Who was this girl whose eyes missed nothing? Who could sketch rivers and boats and birds like a dream? Miss Cole and Miss Blum saw the energy in each line, her drawing. Kyo was too poor to go to art school, but Miss Cole found money to pay her way. The teacher paid for school for Kyo. Kyo was nervous to leave her home for a buzz and bustle of downtown Los Angeles. Not many girls, or even fewer Asian American girls, went to college in 1926. But Kyo was determined. She sketched statues, flowers, faces. Her sketchbooks filled up one after another. Look at that. Practicing drawing statues? Did you paint rocks the other day? Yeah, you were doing art. You were using a paintbrush. Hungry to know more, Kyo set off for Japan, the land of her ancestors, and studied traditional Japanese brush painting with the paintbrush. But the teachers were full of rules. Instead, she traveled around the country doing her own learning, wood blocks, carving tools, inks made of soot. She lost herself in the prints of Hiroshi, Udamura, and Hokusai, and floated in a beautiful sea of kimono. Look at those kimonos. Aren't they beautiful? Different colors and patterns. Traveled, fed her dreams, but back in America, it was time to earn money. For the next few years, Kyo worked long days painting murals and drawings for magazines. In 1941, she was offered a temporary job designing books at Walt Disney Studio, New York. A city filled with art and artists. It was hard for Kyo to leave her home, especially her mother. Little did she know, things were about to get harder still. Oh no. In early 1942, terrible things were happening. Bombs and gunfires rocked the world. America was at war. Yeah, with Japan. Yeah, it's a gun. They're going to war. Kyo was shocked to discover that anyone who looked Japanese or had a Japanese name was now expected for being the enemy. Japanese Americans living in the West Coast were ordered to leave their homes, their schools, their pets, their everything. Oh no, look at how sad Kyo is. Has to leave everything. Kyo, along with others living on the East Coast, was told to stay where she was. On the West Coast, families prepared to leave, tried to sell their larger belongings, like cars, furniture, to junk dealers. Yeah, what's happening? What are they burning?
A fire.
Yeah, they're burning their furniture, They can't move it, so they have to burn it because it's too heavy to carry. But they were offered only pennies. I won't sell, said Kyo's mother. Instead, she set everything ablaze. She'd rather burn it than sell it for cheap. Kyo's family was sent to a prison camp far, far away from their home. Kyo's heart was broken. Look, they're locked away in the camp. They can't leave. For the next 3 years, the world shrank, became tiny and terrible. Now, when she gazed at a white page, no pictures would come. Kyo mailed her family letters and sent gifts for her new nephew, born in the camp, but her heart would not mend. It wouldn't heal, Benji. Her heart was still hurting. What's going to happen to Kyo and her family? Eventually, Kyo began to draw again. She drew to keep her worries still and to save money for her family would need. When hungry strangers saw her as an enemy, drawing comforted her. When the world felt gray, color lifted her. She wondered, could art comfort and lift others too? Look at that. Do you see the umbrella? What colors are they? Bunch of colors like the rainbow, When the war ended, FujiKawa were released. With no house or savings to call their own, they had to start again. For Kyo, the next 15 years passed swiftly. There were stamps to create, store windows to decorate, a children's book of poetry to illustrate. There were 2 poodles who needed loving. Now, when Kyo worked around the city, collecting ideas for her pictures, began to notice little changes around her. Support for the city. In segregation now. Segregation is morally wrong. People who have different skin colors like us, Benji, weren't accepted a lot of places. Yeah, so a lot of things were different. And Kyo noticed that, and she wanted to do something about it, because everyone should be loved and accepted, right? And be friends. Still, there was so much that hadn't changed. At the library and bookshop, it was the same old stories. Mothers in aprons, fathers with pipes, and the world of only white children. Kyo knew a book could hold more and do more. A book, she told her poodles, can be anything that anyone imagined it to be. Kyo knew that she wanted to do. Every day she started with an empty page and filled it with pictures and words. When her book was done, she gave it to a publisher. What did they see? Babies, chubby-cheeked, squat-legged, bouncy-bottom babies, naughty, nice, or oh so busy, coddling babies. But the publisher, what's the baby doing? Well, the publisher said no. Not to mixing white babies and black babies. No, they didn't want the black babies to be with the white babies. It was not done in the early 1960s America, a country with laws that separate people by skin color. But Kyo would not budge. She closed her eyes and remembered all the times she had felt unseen and unwelcomed. She looked the publishers in the eye and said, "It shouldn't be that way. Not out there in the streets, not here in this page. We need to break the rules." Then she waited for them to rethink the decision. The babies waited too and waited, but babies cannot wait, right? Look at the babies turning the page. Help turn the page. Help. Ugh. Finally, the publisher said yes, and the book did well, very well. Babies loved it. So Kyo kept going, welcoming kids and from the edges, from the corners, from the shadows. Kyo let each child find a place, girls and boys freed from pink or blue, sharing jokes, joys, mishap, bruises, all sprawling out across the bright page, ready for a bigger, better world. Look at that. Look at the pictures of Kyo. FujiKawa as a baby in a family. Look at that. That's the real Kyo FujiKawa. Oh my goodness. Born November 3rd. Yeah, Kyo with mother and brother in 1913. Wow. That is cool. That's such a good book. I didn't know about Kyo FujiKawa. We have so many books by her. And there's information about the author and the illustrator. And that was called, It Began with a what? Page. See, they're turning the page.